talking about this kind of a subject. It's interesting for a lot of people. In your book, you talk about nonverbal communication. Right? What does that all mean?
Well, you know, the most important thing that people need to realize is nonverbal communication, body language, is what we actually had before we had words. So the movements, nonverbal communication is primal to us. It's instinctive to us. And it's much easier for me to look at you and figure out what you're thinking than it is for me to listen to your words, look at your body, and then determine if it matches. So we depend upon nonverbal cues much more than we depend upon verbal ones.
That makes sense. They're with babies before they speak.
Yes,
sure. Read them. Okay, so obviously, as you said, we send out signals. What signals do women send out if they're interested and if they're not?
Well, you know, what you need to realize first, though, is there's a difference between how men and women come across.
Okay.
So when we talk about what we're looking for, realize that in order to determine if we have a connection, we have to first understand those differences. So I like to pinpoint those differences. Some of the differences are as simple as, you know, men are problem solvers, whereas women like to talk out their problems, and they don't necessarily want an answer. They just want to be able to speak about their problems.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Other things that you need to realize is men tend to have more tunnel vision, whereas women can see a little bit further around, you know, the eyes in the back of the head kind of theory. And lastly, and most importantly, is men don't always like to talk about their emotions, whereas women are very emotional. So one of the biggest tips I say when we talk about men and women is, if you're trying to communicate with a man and you want him to be more emotive, you want to speak to his emotional brain. That is his right brain. In order to speak to his right brain,
what do you do? What are the signals?
You should talk to his left side. You want to line up your left eye with his left eye. You want to perhaps speak into his left ear. You even want to stroke.
Let's check it out.
You even want to stroke the left side of his body, his hand or his arm, because that's going right into his
This is fascinating.
Get on the right.
Oh, the left side.
Women doesn't mean get on the right?
No, it's actually similar, but this will help at least bring out a little bit more emotions in the man. If we want to talk about basic signaling, you know, men and women both tend to, when they're attracted to one another, do one of two things. So either uplift their eyebrows up, and that's a sign of either recognition or attraction.
This is great. Yeah, watch out.
In addition to that, when we're attracted to someone, we tend to gaze and then look down in submissiveness, and then look back up. And both men and women do this. So if you're looking at someone and they break off to the left or the right, they might not be that interested, but if they look down, there's definite interest.
Oh, yeah, this is great. This is all in your book, too.
Yes.
We have to read all this. I like this. What's the name of the book, by the way, again?
Body language of dating.
Body language of dating.
Yes.
Okay, we want to make sure we get that. Tanya, this is great.
That this can really, well, let's talk about the fact that online dating is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And how that can be very difficult. Real quick, we're running out of time.
You know what? Here's two great things about it. Number one, I think that it has opened up a new population of people who are a little bit more shy. It also changes things across the ages. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can always have some online dating tips. What I have problems with, though, is the fact that there's a lot of impression management. You can lie on these online dating sites.
Yes, you
so
can,
you just have to be very self-aware. So when you meet someone for the first time, be aware and watch their nonverbals. And also, I always say, before you actually meet someone, Skype with them. With today's technology, you have the ability to Skype them right there.
It's a whole different game.
It's called the body language of dating. Tanya,
Learn a lot here, Tanya. I'll remember the left side now.
Yeah, very important. I would love that.
Yes, we gotta watch him.
Left side.
People.
Talking about this.
You know, now I'm a little wary. Yeah, you have to be careful what you do more than what you say now.
Yes.
You know, she said touch the left side of a man. Right. Interesting.
Smart for that brain.
Okay. Well, here's another motion that you should get used to.
Yes.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, nice.
That's what's
like in shoveling?
Yep. Or maybe just a little scraping. You know, something along those lines.
Not too much, though. Not too much, right?
Yeah, you'll be doing a little of that into tomorrow. As we scan the skies on Fox 5 Sky Guardian, we're not seeing a lot right now. We're starting to see just a little bit starting to work its way into the tri-state area. And it's starting off as very wet snow or even some light rainfall coming in to the south of us. But then as you look to the north, you see all those blue returns showing up here. Well, that is where we're going to see the snowfall moving into the area. So not a lot just yet, but I'd say between 9 o'clock and midnight, that's when we're going to start to see the wet snowflakes coming down across the tri-state area. As we take another vantage point here, you can see we've got a frontal system to the north. We've got an area of low pressure also to the south. These two are going to come together very close to the tri-state area, the frontal system crossing the tri-state, and that's going to bring enough moisture into the area and some wraparound moisture behind the system as it moves off into the Atlantic to allow for a little bit of snowfall to collect on the ground overnight tonight and then a little more during the day tomorrow. Behind the system, though, we're going to clear out nicely, and we're going to get a very cold blast of air that lasts just for one day. So here's what's ahead as far as our timeline. From 9 o'clock to midnight, the wet snow will begin. From 1 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock, you'll get about a 1-inch accumulation. And then from 7 o'clock to 3 tomorrow, an additional 1 to 2 inches across the area. So storm totals in general will be between 1 to 3 inches across the majority of the tri-state area. We've got one exception here. We've got a band that's going to go through parts of the Jersey Shore and then on up into Suffolk County and into Connecticut. This is where a winter weather advisory will go into effect tonight because of 2 to 4 inches of snow. So we're not talking about a large jump in numbers, but we are looking at a difference that could create some travel concerns. But again, most of the tri-state area is going to see somewhere between 1 to 3 inches from midnight tonight until about 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. So today we made it to a high temperature above the average of for this time of year. We made it up to 45, the average being 41. And what we're talking about with climatology was snow. So there's been a lot of talk about how much have I received and how does that compare. Well, this season we've received 7.2 inches. Now, on average, we should have received about 15 inches so far this season. The snowiest season on record was 1995 to 96 with over 75 inches, but the least snowiest was in 72 and 73 with just under 3 inches of snow. So we're definitely on the lower end for sure, but we're still going to see a little more snow coming in the next 24 hours or so. So 44 degrees right now in the city. We've got 38 in Sussex and 34 in Monticello. Here's the forecast for tonight. The clouds will continue to thicken. The wet snow will begin late tonight with 1 inch of snow on the ground when you wake up tomorrow morning. And then that morning snow will continue, and then the afternoon and evening snow will taper off with little to no additional accumulation. And the winds pick up on the backside of this system. It's going to bring in a very cold burst of air.
It's going to make it to 34 degrees as a high on Sunday, and it's going to be windy too. It's going to be gusts up to 35 miles per hour, so that's going to feel much colder than the temperature. We're going to make it to the thermometer, but we warm up quickly after that, and then a chance for a rain snow mix, I'm telling you.
Okay, we'll have a nice weekend.
Yes.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, if you've already made that connection, we're going to talk about gifts for your sweetheart next.
And right now, we're going to check in with Harry Martin, talk about what's
The thermometer.
Shay, what can we expect?
Well, we're starting off calm tonight. We're still on the dry side, and we've got mild temperatures right now. You wouldn't imagine that there's snow on the way, given that it's 44 degrees right now in the city, 46 in Belmar, and 38 in Sussex. As we scan the skies on Fox 5 Sky Guardian, we are mostly dry. We're starting to see some returns coming in here now in Pennsylvania, but most of this is very light and spotty, and that's how this whole system is going to continue. It's going to be two systems, one to the north and one to the south, and these are going to move across the area and bring us a chance for 1 to 3 inches of snow across the majority of the tri-state area by tomorrow around 6 o'clock in the evening. So this is going to take a little bit of time for the snow to accumulate, but expect tomorrow morning when you wake up to have about 1 inch on the ground, and then the other 1 to 2 inches occurring during the day. So you can see in general most of the tri-state seeing 1 to 3, with one exception. We've got a band that's going to come through from the Jersey Shore, parts of Monmouth County, but mainly Ocean County, and then across Suffolk County and into Connecticut, where we'll have a chance for 2 to 4 inches. That's where a winter weather advisory will go into effect tonight at midnight as a result of that extra inch or so of snow that's going to come down in that area. But most of the area not under an advisory just yet. Harry, back to you. In the moisture, so it's not a big heavy snow that's going to be moving in and that we're going to see continuous heavy snow. This is going to be light and it's going to be spotty, but it's going to be over a duration from about midnight to 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and that's enough to lay down a couple of inches of snow on the ground by the end of tomorrow evening. We've got an area of low pressure to the south. We've got one also to the north associated with a cold front. These two systems are going to work together. This one bringing the moisture up into our area, and then the cold blast of air is going to come in behind this system. Winds are going to pick up tomorrow night behind the snow. That'll probably blow around some of it and also bring our temperatures down enough for a significant amount of refreeze Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So a couple things to be cautious of, but here's our timeline for the snow. From 9 o'clock tonight to midnight, we're looking at the wet snow beginning to move across the area. From 1 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock, we'll see a 1 inch accumulation in general across the tri-state. And then from 7 o'clock tomorrow morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's where we'll see our additional 1 to 2 inches of snow, bringing us to totals of about 1 to 3 inches across the area. And then the snow will gradually taper off through the evening. So most of the area getting 1 to 3 inches. We do have a band here through central New Jersey that may receive up to 2 to 4 inches. Same deal for Suffolk County and then into Connecticut. That's where a winter weather advisory will go into effect tonight. You can see the county is highlighted here in purple just because of the additional snowfall and an increased chance for some issues with travel. As we take a look at our climatology of snow, this season we've received about a little over